Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph, and today is Saturday, November 11th. It is Veterans Day here in the US, so a very heartfelt thank you for your service to any veterans that might be out there watching, or spouses of veterans. Thank you for your support of your veteran. So today is sort of a monumental day for me in that it's the first day in probably 2.5 months that I don't have to think about the holiday countdown sets. The last of them shipped out yesterday. Matter of fact, most of them had shipped out the 2 days prior, but I had like a very small handful that I couldn't get done and up to the post office Thursday afternoon. So they went out first thing yesterday morning and they're all out. So yay! It's a huge undertaking every year, but it's one that I really enjoy. And this year's theme being a Middle Earth winter, I really enjoyed it. I got super into it. My family was probably so tired of hearing me talk about all things Middle Earth more than I even normally do. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really hope if you purchased one of these collections that you will enjoy it however you decide to use it. I know a lot of you do use it through the month of December as sort of like a yarny advent calendar kind of thing, and others just use it in other ways, and they're meant to be used however you want. So yay, I hope you enjoy them. I'm now at the point of watching shipping notices to see when things get delivered. About a third of them have been delivered to people already, and so I will continue to watch that because I always die up some extra collections just as like insurance backup, in case something should go AWOL and not get delivered or something be wrong. So I like to wait until everybody's got them delivered, and then if the extra ones I will put up in the shop eventually. There will be a handful of extra ones. So if you did not buy a collection, you'll have an opportunity to. I don't really have any day 25 items left over. Those are easy enough to dye though if I would need to. And I did toy with the idea of maybe putting the day 25 items up in the shop again, for a really quick turnaround pre-order, to have out by early December. So I don't know, I might do that. I don't know how many people, might have still wanted one that didn't order one back when they were originally up. But we will cross that bridge when we come to it. I don't know. But anyway, all that to say is if you did order a Middle Earth Winter Holiday Countdown set, it has been mailed out. You may already have it. And today, as I said, is my first day that I'm not working on them in any way. And so it's a little bit refreshing. Yesterday, after I got back from the post office, I was just sort of standing here. And Bill was out there and he's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, I don't have to work on anything like in a major way right now. I mean, I have plenty to work on, but like, it's always that like rush, gotta get this done, and like it's done. And then it's like all that energy had been like still built up in there. It's like, I needed to get it out somehow. So what I did instead yesterday was I finally published my pattern for my Reciprocal shawl. The Moth stitch shawl that I started designing way back in January. And that I've been talking to you about off and on throughout the entire year. It's been mostly ready to go for months. I just didn't have the time to focus on doing like the actual computer work of putting everything together in its final form and getting it up on the website and on Ravelry and everything. So that's what I did yesterday. I finished it up and it's up there. So Reciprocal, and I'm going to show you the 5 samples of it here that I have, just to remind you of what it looks like. So this was my original version, and this was actually never meant to be a pattern that I was planning to write up. Back in January, my January yarn for my personal stash yarn challenge was this yarn, which was some Dusty Tree Dye Works, her Twig DK, and it was a pretty variegated yarn, and I'm like, I wanted to do something with it that would play nicely with the variegation, but not overpower it and not have a pattern that would get lost in it. And so I landed on this moss stitch pattern. Oh, look, the sun's on it. Looks so pretty. Anyway, so I landed on that, and because I only had single skein, I wanted to do something I would be able to use all of the yarn, so I worked end to end for this shawl. Weighed it ahead of time so I could switch to decreasing halfway through. And I put this fun little reversible eyelet garter ridge edge on it. So it turned out great. And I showed it to you guys, and then several people over the course of the month asked, hey, are you going to write that up? I'm like, sure. So then actually not the course of the month, like after I showed it to you guys and I had it on the podcast, people were like, oh, that's so cool. You should write that up. I'm like, okay. I mean, it wasn't difficult to write up. That was not the hard part, honestly. It was everything else that goes into making a pattern. Anyway, so this is a small version because it's just a single skein. So anyway, I did write it up, and then I thought, well, this would work well with fingering weight too if you wanted to make a lighter weight version. And so I started knitting samples. So here we have a fingering weight single skein version. Now, the rest of the colorways that I'm going to show you, these are all my yarns. They are not repeatable colorways though, and I'll talk about that again in a minute. But anyway, this was the fingering weight one, and see how nice and drapey it is? So it's small again because it is just a single skein. This is Bounce, and I just did some really light coloring on it. So it was inspired by Rainbow Moonstone, if you're familiar with what that looks like. But yeah, it's not something I'm going to dye for the shop. So anyway, that's how big the fingering weight one single skein looks. And then I did another single skein DK weight because I wanted to see, whoops, is that it? Nope, this is it. I wanted to see what it would be like in my yarn. And so this is Bonafide. And I just kind of did a tonal purple that was also inspired by a crystal, which is amethyst. So anyway, yeah, so I did that one. And again, small, so it's just a nice little kerchief size, put it around your bandana style. But it's squishy. The DK ones are really squishy. So that's that one. And then I thought, okay, what's this going to look like if I use two skeins? Because that'll make it nice and big and wrappy. And so this is the DK weight 2 skein one, which obviously is a lot bigger. And this is on my Beguiled base, which is DK weight with sparkle with stellina in it. I don't know how much is there. Can we see the stellina? A little bit. Oh, there. When you get it close, you can kind of see it. So anyway, this is not a repeatable colorway. But just for comparison's sake, like you can see how big and squishy this is. So, and this one's big enough that you could wrap it around you too and wear it that way if you wanted. So then I'm like, well, I need to do a 2 skein fingering weight version. Now this one was a commitment because it's over 800 yards of yarn. I did this in Bedazzled, so it's another sparkly one. And it looks sort of similar to that first one, but the blue is very different. It's much brighter. So, and again, non-repeatable colorway. So this one is definitely large enough that you could like wrap it around you this way. Or you could do it sideways. And I'm always really bad at doing it this way. I don't know. I watch Andrea Mallory's podcast, and she shows how to style some of her patterns, and she's so good at just like swishing and zhuzhing her shawls around her. I can't do that. Anyway, so sideways, that's messy. Nobody would want to wear it that way. Or you could definitely still do it around the front, and I actually really like it this way, even though it's super big and long. The tips are, let me back up. They're like down to my wrists. Obviously, if I was going to be wearing this out, I would do this neater, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of size. So anyway, there it is. 4 different configurations, fingering weight or DK weight, small, large. Honestly, you could do this with any yarn that you wanted to. And you could do it with sport weight. You could do it with worsted weight. I don't know what it would turn out like lace weight. Lace weight, you'd really have to use a lot of yardage. But anyway, I love it. I'm so happy with it. I want to make a hand spun one yet. I haven't done that yet. However, it is for sale now. And for now through the 19th of November, it is up half off. So it's only $2.50. The regular price will be $5. It's available both in my shop, the FiberNymphDyeWorks.com website shop, and it's also on Ravelry. You don't need a coupon code for the discount. It's just automatically there, and then it'll just go back up after the 19th. But that about the yarn, and like as I was dyeing these yarns to make these samples, I thought, oh, well, I could do a whole series of yarn to come out with the pattern. And that was also a sticking point for me because I thought, you know what, I wasn't feeling enthusiastic about doing the yarn for the patterns. I like dyeing up sort of serendipity colorways. You know that. I talk about that a lot. And especially when it comes to anything that's not striping. Like striping's my jam. That's what I really like to do. Those are the ones, aside from my serendipity stripes, that like those are repeatable colorways. But when it came to this kind of colorway, I just didn't really feel called to do a bunch of colorways to release with the shawl pattern. And I finally decided that that was a silly thing to get hung up on to keep the pattern from going live, because the pattern was basically ready. And I needed to get some more pictures, and then I also just needed to decide what I was going to do about yarn. And finally I decided, you know what, the whole reason I wrote this pattern to begin with was because I had a skein of really pretty yarn in my stash that I wasn't sure what to do with, and so I created a pattern that would work really well with that variegated skein. And I feel like many of us have that, right? You're at an event or you're in a shop and you see a really pretty skein of yarn, or maybe you buy a couple thinking, oh, maybe I can do something with 2 skeins, but then you're not exactly sure what to do with them, especially when they're variegated. Obviously it works pretty well with just tonals too, but like variegated yarns are so pretty in the skein, and then you get them and you're like, they're harder to make work with some things. So this is a great pattern for that. The patterning does not compete with the patterning of a yarn, the colors in a busy variegated yarn. So that's my hope for you. Like if you purchase this pattern, I hope you can use it with with yarn that you've got in your stash that you've never found something else to use it with. That was my whole goal for when I started creating this pattern. That's not to say that I won't put up, serendipity skeins in the shop occasionally that would also work real well with it, but that's not my number one intent for it. So anyway, Reciprocal, it is now in the shop, both Ravelry and in my shop. And I hope you enjoy it if you get it. And I'm always available for questions. If you have pattern questions or something, just email me and I'm always happy to help. So anyway, all right, so that is up. Oh, what I am wearing is not something I designed. This is my Felix Cardigan by Amy Christoffers. I knit this back in 2020. It feels weird saying that because it does not seem like I did it that long ago, but I did. And this yarn is some Blacker, it was one of their birthday yarns. It was the Cornish Garden Sport Weight. Sport Weight? Yeah, it says Sport Weight, but this was a heavy Sport Weight. It's more of a DK. I'm not even going to pretend to try to pronounce the colorway. Cotehele. I have no idea how you pronounce that, but it's a pretty pumpkin-y orange. So, and I wore this to Ireland a couple years ago. It went all over Ireland and kept me warm, and so I haven't had it on in a while. I thought I would put it on today. So anyway, all right, what else is going on? I think that's all of the announcements I have for you. Let's move into the crafting, because I have been working on some things since I finished the countdown sets, and as I was finishing them, I was working on a couple of things. As I said last time, I just needed to keep my projects minimal while I still had a lot of work to do. The main thing I've been working on since I finished my Deshane, which you saw last time, is I did move on to work on the Ariana Cardigan, also by Amy Christoffers, ironically. That was not planned. So that's the pattern picture for it. It is a crocheted granny square cardigan that I first talked about, several months, a couple months ago maybe. I'm going to say probably back in September. And I had yarn because I had pulled out my Swans Island Sport that I do believe was my September Personal Stash Yarn Challenge yarn. And I will show you in a minute what it looks like. I didn't have enough of it, so I did end up ordering more. Yes, I believe, I thought I had enough to do the sweater. So anyway, once I decided to start working on this, I decided, well, I had to decide on a hook size. So I did do one more square, because that was my hold up originally, was I just wasn't sure what hook size to use to get the right size squares. And so these are my squares, and I'm getting this with a D hook, which is smaller than what it's called for. I think it calls for an F. Yeah, it calls for an F. I went down to a D. And this is the Swans Island All-American Sport. I don't remember the colors now. I'm sorry. The colors are in my project pages. So what you do is you do these 5 rounds, okay? And then you have a 6th color that you do, a 6th and final round, and you're supposed to join the squares as you go doing that 6th round. So here was my hang up with doing that. Number one, I didn't really like the join method of doing it that way. I hadn't really done that before, and I did play with some squares, and I tried to do that, and it was looking like a hot mess. I thought, I don't think I want to do that. But the other thing you might remember is this sweater only comes in 2 sizes. It comes in a small, well, it's a small, medium, large, but that's all one size. Which is a 40-inch bust circumference. And then the large, which is like your extra large, 2X, 3X, which is a 65-inch bust circumference. This sweater is meant to be worn with a lot of positive ease. What does it say? I guess it doesn't really say, but somewhere it says it's meant to be used with a lot of positive ease. I don't want to wear it with a lot of positive ease. I wanted it to be more fitted, and you can't really see in this picture, but if you look at, let me show you another one. I don't want to show you the schematic because that'll give a little bit too much away, but if you look at this picture of her wearing it in the back, do you see all this extra fabric? I don't think it's just how she's wearing it. I think there is a whole lot of extra fabric like here under the arm, because the way it is written to be put together, like you have your squares here and then the squares for the sleeve, but instead of it going up and out, it goes diagonally. Like that's all fabric right there. And I don't think I would be comfortable in that. It's sort of like a bat wingy kind of deal. Even though the sleeve itself is fitted, but from like here down to here, that's all fabric. I'm not doing that. I decided that is not what I want to do. So I'm basically going to wing it, kind of. I know, you're shocked. I'm going to continue to make the squares, but and I need to make some half squares and a couple of quarter squares for the way it's put together. But I'm going to put it together, and I'm going to kind of fit it to myself as I go. I think I've figured out a way to do that. But the other thing I realized, let's see here. So those are my 5 main colors, and those are the ones that I had. That was my September yarn of the month yarn that I did end up having. I bought 1 more of each of these. I really should have bought 2 more, at least, of the blue and the gold, possibly the orange. The orange is going to be close, I think. But definitely the orange and the blue. I should have bought 2 more. But then this was the color I bought to use as my 6th round. And that was going to be my joining, the 6th round and the joining yarn. Well, I was sitting here working on this the other night, and I was looking at these squares, and I'm like, size-wise, I'm getting the right size. Like with the D-hook, this is 5 1/4, maybe 5 1/2 inches, so it's a little bit bigger. But like, I just wasn't sure I wanted them any bigger than this, because that seems really large. So what I thought was, well, what if I just use my blue as my last round, omit the 6th round, and then do the joining in the blue? I really kind of like that idea. So I laid out a bunch of the squares on my bed to look at them, and I really, really liked how they looked that way. So I did start playing with seaming them, and I'm just seaming them the way I always seam granny squares. Oh, you're still attached. Okay. Hang on. This is all I have left of my first ball of that blue, which I think is the azure color. Anyway, but here's how they look. Now, obviously not blocked, so they're kind of ridgy there. But I just do a single crochet chain along there. And that's what it does end up looking like. It ends up looking like a chain stitch along that joint, which I like. I think it's a pretty look. So that's, 3 squares put together. And I really like how that looks. I'm not sure that I would love this color in there too, because I bought these 5 colors originally because I liked how they look together. And I feel like throwing that dark gray in really won't be great. So this is what I've decided I'm going to do. I'm going to put it together in my own way to make it fit me best. And I'm only doing 5 rounds instead of 6. And I'm going to join them this way. So I'm changing up a whole bunch of things, but it's okay. I do need to order more yarn. And I need to sit down and do just a little bit of math to figure out if I'm going to need any more of that orange than what I already have. I did, I think, 20 squares where I started just doing, I did all the centers. I did 20 centers, and then I wove in that center end, and then I added the purple round to all 20 of them, and then wove in my next round of ends, and then the orange, wove in the ends, and so on. I feel like it's a lot more doable for me doing it that way, rather than doing a whole square, moving on to a whole nother square. I like just doing it sort of in that assembly line way. So I do have 20, maybe 22, I can't remember, of these squares, including the few that I've already put together. Do I have any that I haven't finished? Oh yeah, I do have. There's 3 that still need their blue round on them. But I'm going to finish those, and then I'm going to do the half ones that I think I need. And I'm just going to start assembling it as I go and making it fit me the way I want it to. But my goal is to basically do straight up and then branch sleeves off. That is how I would like it to look. Whether I can make that happen or not, we'll see. But anyway, so that's my plan. So now the funny part is I've got these 4, I think I had to buy 4 of these, 4 of this that I'm not going to use for the sweater. And I have to buy more. Definitely 2 more of the, definitely 2 more of the blue and 1 more of the orange and the gold. Or at least the gold. I think the orange. I don't need any more of that light gray or the purple. I'm pretty sure the 2 skeins I have for those will be plenty, because there's a lot left. Like, that's the gray. I mean, that's the first ball of that. That's the first ball of the purple. I'm fairly certain I've got plenty of that. So I don't want to end up, number one, I don't want to end up spending, well, I've already spent a small fortune. This is not super inexpensive yarn, although right now it's on sale. So I want to jump and buy what I need, because it's only like 11 something right now a skein. So I want to get what I need, but like, I don't want to end up with as much yarn as I started out with, which I'm going to. Won't be the same colors, but I'm going to end up with these plus whatever extras I have left over. I mean, this is lovely yarn, and I will use it for something. I'm not worried about it going to waste, but it just sort of bums me out that I bought it with a plan and then decided, no, I don't like that plan. So anyway, it's coming along though, and I really do enjoy the process of granny squares. You guys know that. I've talked about that a lot. So it's moving along, and I think it'll be fine. I just hope it will go together the way I am envisioning it going together. So anyway, that is mostly what I've worked on. I did cast on a pair of socks last weekend. Bill and I had one of our folk music concerts to go to on Saturday, so I cast on a sock the day before so I'd have something to work on in the car and at the concert. And so here's my sock. This is my Luna Moth colorway. That was the September Lepidoptera Yarn and Fiber Club colorway just a couple months ago. So that's the main color. And then I did minis along with it. So this is a mini of that brown stripe. And then the other mini is the gold eye spots on the Luna Moth. So and I'm going to use this for the toes. Now it worked out, I was planning to do shorty socks. These are more like short-ish socks because the cuff is definitely longer than I usually make for a shorty sock, but I wanted to get down to that brown stripe so that I could incorporate that brown mini for the heel flap and just have it go together really well. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to work for the toe because my gold stripe is coming up now and I'm at 5 inches. And so I believe, let's see, let's just do a little quick measure here. 5 inches. I need my sock to be 7.5-ish inches before I do the toe. So if I do that, so I'll do that. 5, 6, 7.5. Oh, well, you know what? It won't be quite out to the gold. It'll be one green stripe short of, oh boy, that's really blowing out because of the way the sun's coming in, sorry. But you can tell this is a very light green and this is like the next shade of green. It'll be right here probably where I'll be putting the gold toe. And so that won't be too bad. That'll be fairly okay. Anyway, so this is my Traveler Sport weight that I'm using, and I'm just doing my regular 2x1 ribbed cuff and top of the foot, a regular heel flap and gusset, and really nothing exciting other than that, but I really like the color. And this also qualifies for the Pigskin Party Q2 challenge, which is to knit something related to nature somehow. So Luna Moth, nature, it works. So anyway, those are the only 2 projects that I'm really working on. I do have another project cast on that's sort of a secret project. I can't tell you about it right now, but eventually you will see it. I have not started my grab your flannel spin that I was going to do once I finish the holiday countdown sets. I just haven't had time to get on with that yet, but I will. It's sitting right over there. So I'll get around to spinning that soon. Okay, that's a little better. It's at that point in the day. I'm sorry. All right, let's see what else. I have not done the October Personal Stash Yarn Challenge winner announcements yet. So because this is my first November episode, so let's do that. I have to reach over here and grab my winner list. Hang on. Okay, I've got it. So, once again, I am so behind in chattering on the chatter thread for the make along. I get caught up and I'm really good for a week or two and then I get busy, and that's what happened because I was working on the countdown sets, so I got behind again. And you guys are chatters and I love that. I'll get caught up again now that I'm done with the countdown sets. But anyway, we had posts 4,536. Oh, you know what? Wait. I should tell you what you're going to win. If you're one of the winners, last month I did the thing where I was going to make every winner a serendipity skein of their own, because you would tell me 2 colors that you really liked, 1 color that you absolutely didn't like, and then I would take that information and I would create a serendipitous striping skein for you. So I'm going to do something a little bit similar to that this month. Except since I just published my pattern for Reciprocal, each winner is going to win a copy of the Reciprocal pattern. If you've already purchased it, I will refund you your purchase price so that you don't have it twice, because that's hardly a prize if it's something that you already have. So if you've already bought it and you win, I will refund you your purchase price. But in addition to the pattern, I will dye for you a serendipitous skein, a variegated serendipitous skein, or a tonal if that's more your preference. But I'm going to do the same thing. You tell me 2 colors that you really like and would like to see in it, 1 color you definitely don't want to see in it, and I will put together some other colors to go with it, and I'll make you a serendipitous colorway that you can use to make this. Now I'll do a single skein, so it can be a single skein of DK or a single skein of fingering. So we're going to do Bounce, Bedazzled, Bonafide, or Beguiled. Okay, so Beguiled is the sparkly DK, Bedazzled is the sparkly fingering weight. So that will get you one of the small shawls that you can make with that, or you can use the yarn for whatever you want. But this is the prize for this month, the pattern plus a special skein of yarn that you're going to help design by telling me your 2 colors that you definitely want in it and 1 color you definitely don't want in it, and I will get that dyed up for you and sent out. Okay, so now, I don't know why I'm sitting this piece of paper down, still need to tell you who won. If you're one of the winners, please email me at lisa@fibernymphdyworks.com and give me your mailing information and that information about your color. And tell me too if you've already purchased the pattern so I can look it up and see, how you paid, and then I can refund you for it. And if you didn't, tell me if you would like me to just email you the PDF or if you would like me to gift it to you through Ravelry. Okay. All the things you got to tell me. All right, so chatter winner. We had posts 4,536 through 5,165 in the chatter thread, and post number 4,587 was the winner, and that is Sloth Crafter, who is Mo. So congratulations, Mo. You heard what you have to do. So you take care of that and email me, okay? So congratulations, hon. Okay. Finished objects. We had 50 finished objects last month. That was awesome. 430 through 480, and random number generator chose post 455, who is Linda, and that's El Mikal. I guess it's El Mikal, who is Linda. So congratulations, Linda. Same thing. Send me all the info and let me know you won, and I'll get something dyed up for you. And lastly, we have Instagram, which, again, as I keep saying, is the imperfect way for me to be able to do this because of how Instagram is now. But I did my scrolly thing on the hashtag and came up with Nicole Simmons Knits. She had a post on October 25th of a pair of socks that she's working on. They're such pretty socks. I think you've finished them now. I think I saw that in the thread, and they're beautiful. I think they were paper daisy designs from the Narnia collection. Lovely socks. Anyway, Nicole, congratulations. You are also a winner for this month. So again, email me, lisa@fibernymphdyworks.com, and let me know all that information so I can get your prize out to you. Okay. That brings us to, my plan for next year's make-along. I did talk about it last month. I have not had a chance to put a thread up anywhere about it yet, but that is what we're going to do. We're going to do a project pool mal. So it'll be a project pool make-along. I did see a lot of people posting, not a lot, but several of you were posting saying how much you really enjoyed this year's make-along and how helpful it was for you to get things done. And I really think that next year's make-along will be able to do that same thing for you, because again, it puts you in the driver's seat choosing the things that you want to do. And we will talk a little bit more about this probably in December, since the soy mal, the Stop Shitting on Yourself mal, ends this month. This is the last month for it. So once that's all done and said, I will be able to talk to you a little bit more about the other one, which will start in January. But you're going to get to pick. You're going to choose things that you want to work on. We're just going to do it in a slightly different format. That's all. So, outside of that, shop news, not a ton. As I said a million times, Reciprocal is now out, so you can get that pattern now if you're interested. I'm mainly focusing on pre-orders that I've had sitting waiting to get finished up while I was trying to finish the holiday countdown sets. I was trying to do both at the same time, but I thought, you know what, I need to just focus on one thing at a time. So pre-orders are my primary top of the list thing to finish up right now. I will have an update probably midweek this coming week, I would say, of special inversibles that I have kind of been dying along the way. And I was saving them up to just do them all in one update. I'm going to have inversibles on bases that I never do inversibles on. There's going to be Traveler Sport Weight inversibles. There's going to be, I'm pretty sure I did them on Cozy, like my worsted weight. I know it's a heavier base. I have to check. Honestly, it's been a while since I dyed them. So Traveler, Cozy, and then I also have them on Linnaeus, my yak base. I've never done inversibles on that colorway, on that yarn base before, because it mutes the colors in such different ways. So hopefully if you like inversibles, you'll enjoy seeing those. And watch your newsletter. I'll send out a newsletter when they're up in the shop and ready to go. So yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on in the shop. I don't really even, I'm not even going to talk about anything else coming up because I haven't had time to make a plan yet. Again, I'm still just coming down off that energy high of having gotten all the holiday countdown sets out. So it's going to take me a little bit to figure out where I'm going to go from here. I will talk to you again, hopefully, in the not too distant future, now that I have a little bit more breathing space in my life. If you have any questions about anything, I will have show notes in the drop-down menu below. You can always add comments here on YouTube or at any of the places that I post the show notes, in the Ravelry group, in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works blog, project pages I have on Ravelry. I also have them in my My Favorite Day website in case you can't do Ravelry. Everything like that is linked in the show notes below. But please feel free to leave comments or ask questions. I also had a thought that I'd love to do an AMA video. I haven't done one in a really long time, an Ask Me Anything kind of video. So if you have questions for an Ask Me Anything video, feel free to leave those in the comments too, and I'll start collecting them, and maybe I'll do one of those videos one day. I never did get to do my Socktober video, but I still may end up doing it because it's still sock season, you know. Carol's still doing her sock season videos over on her A Stitch in Time channel, which I've been really enjoying. So maybe I'll still do it. And I am starting to play with the idea of maybe doing Vlogmas this year. I haven't done it in several years, but maybe this year. I don't know. We'll see. If you have thoughts on that, let me know. So anyway, all right, I'm going to go. It's getting hot sitting here in this sweater with the sun beating on me. So I will talk to you again soon. Love you guys. Bye.